This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase. But did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2019 Subaru Forester Sport. Up front is a 2.5 liter flat 4 and down below is a CVT transmission. If you'd like to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive, where I'll be writing a complete article about the 2019 Forester. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter under the hood. Well, Subaru is known for their flat 4 engines. If you're unfamiliar with what a flat 4 is, basically it's a 4-cylinder engine, but instead of the pistons going up and down, traditionally like an inline 4, 2 pistons go out either way, so there are 4 pistons, and it gives the engine a lower center of gravity. It makes a little bit different of a noise. People who have keen hearing will kind of recognize the difference between a flat 4 and a inline 4. But Subaru has always done this. They're called boxer engines, and I like them. I've never had an issue with a boxer engine. I think they drive just like any other engine. It's just a weird quirk that Subaru has. Speaking of things that they've always done, CVTs. They were one of the first companies, in my opinion, to really latch on to the CVT trend. They've had CVTs in their cars for a while, and again, no complaints. And last but not least, something Subaru has done forever as well, is that the Forester is all-wheel drive. And Subaru kind of put normalizing all-wheel drive sort of on the map. At least for me personally, I had never heard of sedans and hatchbacks regularly having all-wheel drive. But Subaru's been doing all-wheel drive in their sedans forever. All right, 2.5 liter flat 4. Not bad. Definitely not bad. It's not going to blow the doors off of anything, but it's an adequate amount of power. So let's talk about the interior. Partially orange, and I'll get to that. In front of me, I have 2 gauges. On the left is my tachometer, and on the right is my speedometer with a nice center screen in the middle. I like that the gauges do say Sport because this is kind of a fun trim package, and the center screen gives us a bunch of different information. On the steering wheel, we get our controls for audio, our phone, info, source, and then on the right, we have all of our different cruise control settings and stuff like that. We also have the sport mode button on the steering wheel. It's called SI Drive, and basically it gives you a lot better throttle input and gives you a lot sportier feel, as much as a Forester can be sporty. That being said, the Sport package does come with paddle shifters, which I will outline the Sport package a little bit later on. To the left, we have a bunch of different buttons. I think my favorite one is the memory tailgate. So if you have like a bike rack or you have a low-hanging garage, you can actually set the tailgate to remember that height, and so the tailgate will never open up larger than you need it to go, and so you'll never bump your tailgate on something. I think that's a really nice feature that should be incorporated into all hatchbacks. You know, the SUV segment of the market is getting so much bigger. I think all hatchbacks need that setting. This is also where you have your collision warning, assist off button, and all of those sort of nanny buttons you can turn off over there. On the door, we do have our window switches. Nothing too crazy over there. Do have automatic windows, 1 touch down, 1 touch back up. Then we come up to the center, which gets a nice little, it's not a gauge pod, but it gives you a bunch of different information. It can act like a gauge pod. So right now, I'm looking at the weather, which is really interesting, but then I have my radio, I have distance till empty, as well as like my MPG, all of that stuff. The time, which it actually gives me an analog clock, which I know a lot of people like analog clocks. I'm personally not a big fan, but that's neat. It gives my Eyesight what it is doing. So this car has Subaru's Eyesight, which is basically a monitoring system. You'll notice that there's 2 cameras up above the rear view mirror, and that's basically radar, cruise control, collision warning, all of that stuff. It's called Eyesight. Then we come down to our 4-wheel drive system, so it's telling me where the power is going, as well as my directional tilt. So actually, if I come up to this corner fast enough, 1 degree. We got 1 degree of tilt. And then I have my water temperature, oil temperature, and average speed, which I love that the water temperature or coolant temperature, whatever you want to call it, it actually says normal. So if you're unsure of what is normal for your vehicle, it straight up tells you it's normal. I really like that. Then we have the center screen. This is where you can get all your apps. Right now I have Pandora and Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of this stuff. I really like that. Then you get your climate controls, very basic here, but the climate controls kind of carry on to the center stack. We have our shifter, which you can put over and plus minus if you would like to do that, which it is a CVT, so it doesn't sort of fakes the plus minus thing, but you do have that controllability if you'd like that. Then we have a couple more fun buttons. So off to the right, heated seats, high and low, really like that. Then we have this center sort of fighter jet looking button. It says X mode, and so we have push for normal, snow or dirt, and mud. So we can select different drive modes. I really like that. I like how it feels like a sort of fighter jet. I like how it feels sort of adventurous. And that's really the overall feel of this Forester. This is the Forester Sport. But Foresters have always been some of the most capable vehicles I have ever seen. Now, this is a four-door, so we will do a backseat review. Okay, so we are in the back of the Subaru Forester Sport. Nothing really too interesting back here. There is no third row of seats. It's not offered in the Forester, but if you do want a third row Subaru, they do make the Ascent, which I did review a 2019 Ascent earlier this year. I'll leave a link to that at the end of the video. But just the 2 rows for now. The orange stitching carries on. We have window switches. I have 2 USB chargers down there. And of course the center console with 2 cup holders. Now, I am a dumb idiot, and I forgot to explain to you guys what the Sport really entails when I did the upfront review, so let's talk about it now. So the Sport has larger brakes, 18x7 aluminum alloy wheels, LED fog lights, body-colored mirrors, sport cloth seats with orange stitching, has a nicer center display, paddle shifters, and the dual second row USB ports, which is what I just mentioned. So that's what comes in the Sport package. Mostly appearance, it does get the paddle shifters, but overall I'm a fan of the Sport package, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. And speaking of sportiness, let's talk about the sort of elephant in the room, the orange interior parts. Now this is part of the Sport package, like I mentioned. You have orange vent shrouds, orange stitching, and around the shifter, I guess bezel is orange as well. I think any other car I would probably verbally destroy for having so many orange accents. I think it's childish. I think it's unnecessary. But that being said, this is a Forester, which is really capable. And so in my book, kind of gets the okay because it is actually sporty, because it actually is rugged, because it actually is fun. Overall, I have to say that I really do like the 2019 Forester Sport. And going back to what I was talking about the interior, I think a lot of other cars try to be sporty and they try to tell you, oh, I'm sporty because I have a colored interior. I'm sporty because I have paddle shifters. And yes, this does have a colored interior and paddle shifters, and it says Sport on the dash, which I would think would be gimmicky, but the Subaru Forester, it deserves it. It deserves the quirkiness. It deserves the bragging rights, honestly, because these cars are incredibly capable. You know, Subaru has one of the best all-wheel drive systems I've ever come in contact with. They've always also cared about other safety features like airbags, like rollover protection. Go online and search up Subaru crash stories, and I'll bet that most of them turn out positive. And so really, I am a big fan of the Subaru Forester Sport. I've always liked Foresters. I've always think that they're cool. I've always thought that they were adventurous vehicles for people who don't immediately want a Jeep. And yes, they have grown substantially. They're a lot bigger. I reviewed, I believe, in 05 or 04, and it is considerably smaller than this. But if you have a family, a small family, a Forester is a great car. And if your family's a little bit bigger, get the Ascent. But for me, I would take a Forester. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something about the 2019 Subaru Forester Sport. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for lending me their used 2019 Subaru Forester Sport. You guys know by now, Toyota's been helping me out with these reviews. Been having an absolute blast filming them, and so go check out their inventory. I will leave a link to this exact Forester on their website. I'll leave a link in the description below if you'd like to check it out. But again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
'cause aside from my soul,